Discovery and intrigue. The alien exploration vessel Zephyr hung silently in orbit around the unremarkable blue-green world. Captain Krell stood on the bridge, his four eyes blinking in rapid succession as he studied the planet's surface readings. "Another dead end," he muttered, mandibles clicking in frustration. For cycles now, the Zephyr and her crew had been charting the outer reaches of what was once human-controlled space. Their mission: to catalog any remaining human settlements or technology that might pose a threat to the Galactic Confederation. So far, they'd found nothing but abandoned outposts and crumbling ruins. "Captain," called out Sensor Officer Vix, her antennae twitching excitedly. "I'm detecting an unusual energy signature from the northern continent. It's faint, but definitely artificial." Krill's interest was piqued. "On screen," he ordered. A holographic display flickered to life, showing a topographical map of the landmass. A pulsing red dot indicated the source of the energy reading. "Curious," Krell mused. "It appears to be coming from underground. Perhaps some old human power source still functioning after all this time." First Officer Zara, a tall, slender being with iridescent scales, stepped forward. "Should we send down a probe, Captain?" Krell considered for a moment. The energy signature was intriguing, but was it worth the risk of landing? Humans had been known for their ingenuity and their paranoia. Who knew what kind of defenses might still be active? "No," he decided. "This warrants a closer look. Prepare a landing party. You'll lead the expedition, Zara. Take a security detail and our xenotech specialist." Hours later, Zara's team stood at the entrance to what appeared to be an old mine shaft. The energy signature led them here, growing stronger as they approached. "Readings indicate the tunnel extends several kilometers beneath the surface," reported Tech, the team's technology expert. His cybernetic implants whirred as he processed the data. "The energy source is at the lowest level." Zara nodded, her hand resting on the particle beam weapon at her hip. "Stay alert. We don't know what we might find down there." As they descended into the darkness, the alien team couldn't shake an increasing sense of unease. The walls of the tunnel were unnaturally smooth, bearing little resemblance to a typical mining operation. Strange symbols and markings occasionally appeared, hinting at a purpose far beyond resource extraction. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of descent, they emerged into a vast underground chamber. The aliens gasped in collective astonishment. Before them stretched a sprawling complex of sleek metal and gleaming technology. Despite years of abandonment, many systems still hummed with life, bathing the cavernous space in an eerie blue glow. "By the void," whispered Zara. "What is this place?" Tech approached a nearby console, his implants interfacing with the unfamiliar technology. After a few moments, his eyes widened in shock. "First Officer," he said, his voice trembling. "This facility, it appears to have been a top-secret human military installation. But not just any military base. According to these files, this was the headquarters for something called Project Prometheus, a program dedicated to creating enhanced human super soldiers." The revelation sent a chill through the alien team. They had all heard stories of humanity's martial prowess, of how the supposedly primitive Tech's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Give me an hour, maybe two. I've never seen encryption like this before, but I think I can crack it." Zara knew she was potentially disobeying orders, but the potential knowledge to be gained was too great to ignore. "Do it," she commanded. "But be careful. We have no idea what kind of safeguards the humans might have left in place." As Tech set to work on the vault, the rest of the team continued to explore the facility. They uncovered personnel logs, research notes, and fragmented video recordings that painted a picture of the project's ambitious goals and its ultimate failure. The humans had pushed the boundaries of science and ethics in their quest to create the perfect soldier. Gene therapy, cybernetic augmentation, and experimental psychological conditioning had all been employed to forge warriors of unprecedented capability. But something had gone wrong. The logs became increasingly erratic towards the end, speaking of test subjects experiencing violent mood swings, paranoid delusions, and in some cases, complete psychotic breaks. The final entries hinted at a catastrophic containment breach, but the details were frustratingly vague. Just as Zara was beginning to reconsider the wisdom of opening the vault, Tech's triumphant voice echoed through the chamber. "I've done it. The security protocols are down." The team gathered anxiously as the massive vault door slowly swung open, revealing its long-hidden contents. What they found inside would change the course of galactic history forever. Unraveling the secrets, the vault door creaked open, revealing a room bathed in an eerie, pulsating blue light. The alien team stood frozen, their eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation as they took in the sight before them. At the center of the chamber stood a single stasis pod, unlike any they had encountered before. Its surface was a smooth, almost liquid-like metal that seemed to ripple and shift as they watched. Within, barely visible through the frosted glass, was the silhouette of a humanoid figure. "Is it alive?" whispered Zara, her scales shimmering with nervous energy. Tech approached the pod cautiously, his cybernetic implants whirring as they analyzed the unfamiliar technology. "Life signs are present, but they're unlike anything I've ever seen. It's as if the being inside is somehow between states of existence." As the team gathered around the pod, they noticed a data terminal nearby. Tech interfaced with it, and suddenly the room came alive with holographic projections. The images showed humans, but not like any they had seen in historical records. These beings were taller, stronger, their bodies a seamless blend of organic tissue and advanced cybernetics. "Project Prometheus," a disembodied voice began, startling the aliens. It was a recording, they realized, likely triggered by their presence. Humanity's answer to a hostile universe. "Within this vault lies the culmination of our work, the perfect soldier, the next step in human evolution." The holographic display shifted, showing scenes of these enhanced humans in action. They moved with impossible speed and grace, shrugging off injuries that would have been fatal to ordinary beings. The aliens watched in stunned silence as these super soldiers effortlessly tore through defenses and overcame obstacles that would have stymied even the most advanced Galactic Confederation forces. "But we reached too far," the voice continued, a note of regret creeping in. "In our quest for perfection, we unleashed something we couldn't control. The enhancements that made our soldiers invincible on the battlefield also altered their minds in ways we never anticipated. The holograms now showed chaotic scenes of violence and destruction. Enhanced humans turning on their handlers, entire facilities going dark as containment was breached. The aliens felt a chill run down their spines as they realized the true scope of what had transpired here. "This subject," the voice said, as the hologram focused on the stasis pod before them, "represents our final attempt to correct our mistakes. A perfect balance of power and control. But we no longer trust ourselves with such responsibility. This vault was sealed in the hope that a more worthy civilization might one day unlock its potential." With those ominous words, the recording ended, leaving the alien team in stunned silence. Zara was the first to speak. "We need to contact High Command immediately. This is far beyond our authority to handle." But even as she said it, she knew the situation was far more complicated. The existence of these human super soldiers, and the technology used to create them, could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. Every spacefaring race would want to claim it for themselves. As if reading her thoughts, Tech spoke up. "If we report this, it will mean war. Every faction in the Confederation will be scrambling to get their hands on this technology. Millions could die in the conflict. And if we don't report it," asked one of the security officers, "we'd be disobeying direct orders. That's treason." Zara felt the weight of the decision pressing down on her. "We need more information before we decide anything. Tech, can you access more of the facility's databanks? I want to know everything about these super soldiers, their capabilities, their weaknesses, and most importantly, what happened to the ones that escaped." As Tech set to work, the rest of the team spread out to continue exploring the facility. In the living quarters, they found personal logs and video diaries that painted a haunting picture of the project's human cost. Scientists and soldiers alike spoke of the toll the experiments had taken, the pain of transformation, the psychological strain of becoming something more than human. In the medical bay, holographic anatomical displays revealed the full extent of the enhancements. Bones reinforced with carbon nanotubes, muscles interwoven with synthetic fibers, neural networks augmented by quantum processors. The aliens marveled at the ingenuity while shuddering at the invasiveness of the procedures. But it was in the project director's office that they found the most chilling information. Hidden behind layers of encryption was a contingency plan. Operation Scattered Seed. In the event of catastrophic failure, the most stable of the enhanced soldiers were to be secretly dispersed to remote human colonies across the galaxy. A final failsafe to ensure the project's work would survive, even if Earth itself fell. Captain, Zora communicated to the Zephyr in orbit. We've discovered something unprecedented. Request immediate secure communication with Galactic Confederation headquarters. Priority level Omega. As they awaited a response, the team gathered again in the vault chamber. The stasis pod continued its silent vigil, the being inside suspended between life and death, past and future. What do we do with it? One of the security officers asked, gesturing to the pod. Before Zara could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Tech's eyes widened as he interfaced with the security systems. We've triggered some kind of failsafe. The whole base is going into lockdown. Panic set in as the team realized they might be trapped underground. But their fear turned to horror as the stasis pod began to pulse with energy. Cracks appeared in its surface, spreading like a web across the frosted glass. It's opening, Zara whispered, her hand moving instinctively to her weapon. As the pod split open with a hiss of escaping gases, the aliens found themselves face to face with the product of humanity's most ambitious and terrifying experiment. The super soldier's eyes snapped open, glowing with an inner fire that spoke of power beyond anything they had ever encountered. In that moment, Zara and her team knew that nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The hunt begins. The super soldier's eyes locked onto the alien team, a mix of confusion and primal alertness evident in their unnaturally bright gaze. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as both sides assessed each other. Zara, her scales rippling with tension, slowly raised her hands in a universal gesture of peace. "We mean you no harm," she said, hoping the facility's translation systems were still functional. The soldier's response was faster than any of them could track. In a blur of motion, the enhanced human had disarmed two of the security officers and positioned itself defensively in a corner of the room. The aliens were left stunned, their most highly trained personnel rendered helpless in the blink of an eye. "Incredible," Tech whispered, his cybernetic implants struggling to process the speed of the movement. The soldier spoke, its voice hoarse from disuse, but filled with unmistakable authority. "Who are you? Where are the project leaders?" Zara, realizing the volatile nature of the situation, decided honesty was the best approach. "We are an exploration team from the Galactic Confederation. The humans who created you, they're gone. This facility has been abandoned for a long time." A flicker of emotion. Was it sadness? Anger? Passed across the soldier's face. "How long?" "Based on our estimates," Tech interjected, "this facility has been inactive for at least 200 standard galactic years." The news seemed to hit the soldier like a physical blow. It staggered slightly, the first sign of weakness they had seen. 2 centuries, it murmured. Then, the fail-safe protocol. Operation Scattered Seed. It was activated. Zara nodded cautiously. "We found records of it. Enhanced soldiers were sent to distant human colonies, but we don't know what became of them." The soldier's posture changed, a new sense of purpose evident in its bearing. "Then my mission is clear. I must find them. Gather them. Ensure the project's survival. Alarm bells rang in Zora's mind. The idea of these enhanced humans regrouping, possibly to form an army, was terrifying. "Wait," she said. "The galaxy has changed. The human empire is gone. Rushing out there could lead to conflict, misunderstandings. Let us help you acclimate, understand the new political landscape." The soldier regarded her with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. "Why would you help me?" "Because," Zora said, choosing her words carefully, "the alternative could lead to unnecessary bloodshed. And because we're curious. Your kind represents a technological and biological leap that could benefit all species if understood properly." For a tense moment, it seemed the soldier might refuse, but then, slowly, it nodded. "Very well. I will cooperate for now. But make no mistake, my primary mission remains." With an uneasy truce established, the team began the delicate process of bringing their new ally up to speed on 2 centuries of galactic history. The soldier, who eventually revealed the designation Prometheus Alpha, absorbed the information with remarkable speed. Meanwhile, Zora finally received a response from Galactic Confederation headquarters. As she feared, the news of the Super Soldier program sent shockwaves through the upper echelons of power. Her orders were clear: locate any remaining enhanced humans and bring them in for evaluation. Zara knew what that really meant. The Confederation wanted the super soldiers as weapons, tools to maintain their dominance. She kept this from Prometheus Alpha, her conscience warring with her duty. As days turned to weeks, the Zephyr and its unusual passenger charted a course for the outermost human colonies. Prometheus Alpha proved to be a valuable source of information, filling in gaps in their historical records and providing insights into human military strategy that left the alien tacticians in awe. But the journey was not without tension. More than once, the enhanced reflexes and combat instincts of their guest led to near-disastrous misunderstandings. The ship's crew walked on eggshells, acutely aware of the potential destruction Prometheus Alpha could unleash if provoked. Their first breakthrough came on a remote agricultural world, officially listed as abandoned in Confederation records. As they entered orbit, however, signs of life became evident. "It appears a small population has managed to survive here, undetected," Tech reported, his sensors scanning the surface. "And there's something else. An energy signature similar to the stasis pod we found Prometheus Alpha in." The team, along with their enhanced companion, descended to the planet's surface. They found a community that had reverted to a largely pre-industrial way of life, with one stark exception. At the center of their main settlement stood a temple-like structure humming with power. As they approached, the colonists emerged to greet them. Their reaction to Prometheus Alpha was immediate and unexpected. They fell to their knees in reverence. "The sleeper awakens," an elder intoned. As the legends foretold, Zara and her team exchanged bewildered glances. Prometheus Alpha, however, strode forward with purpose. "Where is the one who came before?" it asked. "The one you call?" "The Guardian," the elder finished. "In the temple, waiting. Always waiting." As they entered the temple, Zara felt a sense of foreboding. What they found inside would either be the key to unraveling the mystery of the Super Soldier program, or the spark that would ignite a conflict beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. The inner chamber was dominated by another stasis pod, identical to the one they had found on the first planet. As they watched, it began to open, revealing another enhanced human. Prometheus Alpha stepped forward, a rare smile crossing its face. "Brother," it said, "we have much to discuss." Zara realized with a sinking feeling that their mission had just become far more complicated and far more dangerous. Confrontation and revelation. The second stasis pod hissed open, releasing a cloud of cryogenic vapor. As it dissipated, another enhanced human emerged, its movements fluid and precise despite centuries of dormancy. This new super soldier, whom the colonists referred to as the Guardian, locked eyes with Prometheus Alpha. For a tense moment, the two enhanced humans regarded each other silently, communicating in subtle ways the aliens couldn't perceive. Then, with blinding speed, they clasped forearms in a warrior's greeting. "It has been too long, Alpha," the Guardian said, its voice carrying the weight of ages. "Indeed, Omega," Prometheus Alpha replied. "The galaxy has changed much. Our kind are scattered. But our purpose remains." Zara stepped forward cautiously. "I hate to interrupt this reunion, but we have some pressing questions. Starting with, what exactly is your purpose?" The two super soldiers turned their attention to the alien team. Omega's gaze was piercing, assessing each of them in turn. "You've aligned yourself with these aliens, Alpha. Interesting. Perhaps it's time we revealed the truth about Project Prometheus and the real reason for our creation." Over the next few hours, in the temple's inner sanctum, Zara and her team listened in growing astonishment as Alpha and Omega unfolded a tale that rewrote their understanding of human history. Project Prometheus, they learned, was not merely a super soldier program. It was humanity's ultimate failsafe against extinction. The enhanced humans were designed not just for combat, but for survival in the harshest conditions imaginable. Their purpose was to ensure that no matter what catastrophe befell Earth or its colonies, the human species would endure. "But why the secrecy?" Tech asked. "Why not make this program public? Give hope to your people." Omega's expression darkened. "Because hope can be dangerous. Our creators feared that if humanity knew we existed, they might become complacent, relying on us to save them rather than striving to overcome their own challenges." "There's more," Alpha added. "We were given another mission, one that extends beyond mere survival." It paused, seeming to weigh its words carefully. "We were tasked with guiding the evolution of the human species, to shepherd them towards their ultimate potential." The implications of this revelation stunned the alien team. These enhanced humans weren't just soldiers, they were the guardians of humanity's future, possessed of knowledge and capabilities far beyond anything they had imagined. As the conversation deepened, Zara found herself torn. Her orders from the Galactic Confederation were clear: secure the super soldiers and their technology at any cost. But the more she learned, the more she questioned the wisdom of that directive. "You must understand," she said, addressing both Alpha and Omega. "Your existence, your capabilities, they're going to destabilize the entire galactic political structure. Every faction will want to control you, to harness your power for their own ends." Omega's laugh was devoid of humor. "Control us? They can certainly try. But we've had centuries to prepare for this moment. The real question, alien, is where do you stand? Are you here to help us, or to try and stop us?" The tension in the room ratcheted up several notches. Zara could feel her security team's hands inching towards their weapons. She knew they didn't stand a chance against two enhanced humans, but instinct was hard to overcome. "I'm here to prevent a war," Zara said firmly. "One that will inevitably break out if knowledge of your existence spreads unchecked. But I'm also here to learn. Your creators clearly saw something coming, some threat or challenge that necessitated your creation. I think it's in everyone's best interest if we understand what that was." Alpha and Omega exchanged a long look, seeming to have a silent conversation. Finally, Alpha nodded. "Very well. We will show you." What followed was a holographic display of information so dense and complex that even tech's advanced cybernetics struggled to process it all. It spoke of long-term astronomical observations, complex sociological models, and predictive algorithms that spanned millennia. The picture it painted was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Humanity had foreseen not just its own potential downfall, but challenges that would face all sentient life in the galaxy. Climate collapse, resource depletion, wars that could sterilize entire star systems, and threats from beyond the galaxy's edge that defied comprehension. "This," Omega said, gesturing to the swirling display of data, "is why we exist. Not just to ensure human survival, but to prepare all sentient life for what's coming." The Galactic Confederation, as it stands now, is ill-equipped to face these challenges. Our mission is to guide, to prepare, to unite, by whatever means necessary. Zara felt the weight of this revelation settling on her shoulders. She realized that the decision she made here, in this moment, could alter the course of galactic history. If what you're showing us is true, she said slowly, then we need to work together. But it has to be done carefully. If we move too quickly, we risk triggering the very conflicts we're trying to prevent. Alpha nodded approvingly. A wise assessment. Perhaps there's hope for cooperation after all. But before they could discuss further, alarms began blaring from the Zephyr in orbit. Tech's eyes widened as he processed the incoming data. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, he reported. Confederation military vessels. And they're not alone. I'm detecting ships from at least 3 other major galactic powers. Zara's heart sank. Somehow, word had gotten out. The hunt for the super soldiers was on, and they were caught in the middle. As weapon systems powered up in orbit and tensions rose to a breaking point, Zara realized they were standing at a crossroads of history. The next few moments would determine whether the galaxy plunged into a war that could destroy everything, or if a new era of cooperation and preparation could begin. Alpha and Omega stood ready, their enhanced bodies humming with barely contained power. They looked to Zara, waiting to see what move she would make. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. A new era dawns. The tension in the temple was palpable as Zara processed the gravity of their situation. Above them, the standoff in orbit threatened to explode into open conflict at any moment. She knew she had to act fast to prevent catastrophe. We need to buy time, Zara declared, her mind racing. Tech, can you scramble our communications and sensor readings? Make it look like there's some kind of natural phenomenon interfering with their scans. Tech's cybernetic implants whirred as he worked. I can create the illusion of an ionospheric disturbance. It won't fool them for long, but it might give us a few hours. Do it, Zara ordered. She turned to Alpha and Omega. We need a plan. If we can't convince all sides to stand down, this planet could become ground zero for an interstellar war. The 2 super soldiers exchanged a look of grim determination. We have safeguards in place, Alpha said. Fail-safes that could tip the balance in our favor, but using them would reveal the full extent of our capabilities and potentially escalate the conflict. Omega nodded in agreement. Our purpose is to guide and protect, not to dominate. We need a solution that doesn't rely on brute force. As they debated their options, a commotion outside the temple caught their attention. The colonists were gathering, their faces a mix of fear and resolve. The elder who had greeted them earlier approached, bowing respectfully to Alpha and Omega. Guardians, the elder said, we have lived in secret for generations, keeping the knowledge of your existence safe. But now, it seems our time of hiding is at an end. We stand ready to help in whatever way we can. Zara was struck by an idea. That's it, she said, her scales shimmering with excitement. We don't need to fight our way out of this. We need to change the narrative. Show them a truth so compelling that they have no choice but to listen. Over the next hour, they formulated a daring plan. As Tech worked to maintain their sensor cloak, Zara used her command codes to open a channel to all the ships in orbit. Meanwhile, Alpha and Omega worked with the colonists to prepare a demonstration that would shake the foundations of galactic society. When everything was ready, Zara took a deep breath and activated the communication link. Her image was broadcast to every ship above, from the Confederation cruisers to the alien battleships that had come seeking the rumored super soldiers. This is First Officer Zara of the Galactic Confederation exploration vessel Zephyr, she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. I'm speaking to all forces gathered in orbit. What I'm about to show you will change everything you think you know about humanity and our shared future in this galaxy. I implore you to watch and listen before taking any aggressive action. With that, she nodded to Alpha and Omega. The super soldiers stepped forward, their enhanced bodies glowing with an inner light that the cameras easily captured. They began to speak, taking turns to explain the true purpose of Project Prometheus and the challenges that lay ahead for all sentient life. As they spoke, holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing the data they had revealed earlier. The long-term threats, the complex models, the preparations humanity had been making in secret for centuries. The colonists played their part as well, demonstrating how they had been working in harmony with the super soldiers' guidance. They showcased sustainable technologies, advanced medical techniques, and social structures designed to weather any crisis. "We are not weapons to be feared or controlled," Alpha declared. "We are guardians, created to help all sentient life face the challenges that lie ahead. The human empire may have fallen, but our mission continues, to unite, to prepare, to ensure that life in this galaxy not only survives but thrives." Omega stepped forward. "We extend an invitation to all species, all factions. Join us. Let us combine our knowledge, our strengths. Together, we can build a future greater than any of us could achieve alone." As their words echoed across the communication channels, Zara held her breath. For a long moment, silence reigned. Then, gradually, responses began to pour in. Questions, expressions of disbelief, demands for more information. But notably, no immediate calls for aggression. Over the next several days, representatives from various galactic powers made their way to the surface. The temple became a hub of diplomatic activity unlike anything the galaxy had seen in centuries. There were heated debates, moments of tension, and more than a few threats, but also, gradually, a growing sense of common purpose. Zara found herself at the center of it all, mediating between the super soldiers and the various factions. It was exhausting, often frustrating work, but she could see the tide turning. The revelation of the long-term threats facing the galaxy, combined with the obvious benefits of the super soldiers' knowledge, was too compelling to ignore. 1 month after the standoff began, a historic agreement was signed. The Prometheus Accord established a new framework for galactic cooperation, with the enhanced humans serving as advisors rather than weapons. Research teams from various species would work together to verify and expand upon the data Project Prometheus had gathered. As Zara watched the signing ceremony, Alpha approached her. "You took a great risk," the super soldier said, "defying your orders, trusting us. The galaxy owes you a debt." Zara's scales shimmered with emotion. "I just did what I thought was right. But this is only the beginning, isn't it? There's still so much work to be done." Alpha nodded, a hint of a smile on its usually stoic face. "Indeed, the challenges ahead are great, but for the first time in centuries, I have true hope. Together, we have a fighting chance." As the sun set on the colony world, casting a golden light over the gathering of diverse species, Zara felt a sense of profound optimism. The galaxy was entering a new era, one of cooperation, preparation, and shared purpose. The human super soldiers, once a closely guarded secret, were now a beacon of hope for all sentient life. And Zara, the alien explorer who had stumbled upon their hidden facility, found herself at the forefront of the most important mission in galactic history. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But as Zora looked out at the assembled representatives of countless worlds, she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The legacy of humanity lived on, not in conquest or domination, but in the spirit of unity and resilience that Project Prometheus had always intended. A new chapter in galactic history had begun, and its first words were written in hope.